the demolition work these residents never asked for. Their lives and homes have been turned upside down thanks to a construction site next door. So who's to blame? But more importantly, who's going to fix it?
My whole backyard has collapsed. A whole brick wall, my colour bond, the whole car park over here.
This has been a nightmare for 3 years.
Are you scared you're going to have to leave?
Yes, of course. I have anxiety.
They don't worry about, like, the neighbours, like look what happened now.
Donna Robinson has called Henry Street home for 26 years.
My children were brought up in this house. I've just put my whole savings into this house, basically, you know, as in doing it up and everything.
Everything has always been just so at Donna's place until earlier this month when her life and home were turned upside down.
I was just in the kitchen, thank God, and I just heard this horrific noise. It sounded like a bomb went off. Neighbours from up the road, like 5 houses up, heard it. They all came running down.
Donna lives next to a construction site where a home's been demolished to make way for a boarding house. She says the works have left her wall unstable and her home unsafe.
What have you been told about the safety of your home?
That it is not safe to live in because the wall behind me could collapse. Not could, they told me this morning. It's a matter of when.
I mean, it is...
Neighbour Warren Underwood says he also received a backyard blitz that he never asked for.
Well, there used to be a brick wall up here which had a fountain on it, also different plants, orchids that were pushed into the brickwork as well. But one day they just came down and they knocked it down, put the fence up, and that was it.
Warren's lived here for 18 years and didn't want the new neighbours.
They're building a 3-storey boarding house. Look, I don't oppose any development within reason for low-income earners. I think that they deserve it. But the scale of the development is not right for this area and this site. It's too small.
The boarding house will have 17 rooms and a basement car park with a car stacker. The development application was originally knocked back at the Land and Environment Court in 2019 before the landowners reduced the scale and improved car parking before getting the green light earlier this year.
The builder claims they finished demolition weeks ago and hadn't been on site since October before the wall collapsed. He says there's no stop work order, but it will be tools down until it's fixed.
It will get worse. There's no doubt about that. Once it's repaired and they go right down 6 metres to put in a turntable and a stacker, there will be heaps of problems.
Like, why would you put a boarding house in a lovely, quiet street like this? You know, really close to the other houses.
This was not the right development for this tiny piece of land.
Grace Appap and her family have lived next door running a Marto's Liquor Mart for 44 years. But now she says her wall's hanging in the balance.
Our engineer came out yesterday and said, yep, look, your foundation has been compromised by the digging. We're worried, yes, we're very worried because we have our stock there. So that's our warehouse that we use every day.
What would the consequences be if your wall fell?
We would lose it all, I guess. Like, you know, there's a lot of stock in there for Christmas because it's coming towards Christmas, so we've been buying lots of stock for our liquor store. We'll be in big trouble if the wall goes down.
Grace, Donna and Warren don't think any of this is fair.
We're just worried that we want our wall to survive. Now these poor people have nowhere to, they're going to be evacuated. They've been here for years and years and years. Like, it's just not fair.
I'm an aged pensioner. I'm reaching 67. Therefore my comforts are my home and I don't want to leave. It's the same with Donna.
I just love my home so much, you know, and I'm just just feel so lost because I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah, it's really tough. But there is some good news. New South Wales Land and Housing says it's found Donna another home nearby where her rent will be waived for 6 months and she'll be allowed to return to Henry Street once it's fixed. And you can read the statements from the landowners, council and the builder on our homepage.